Valentine's Day is quickly approaching, and many of us are thinking about romance and relationships. We sat down with Coach D. Rich to discuss what everyone needs to know about love and the four key components of building a healthy relationship. Coach D. Rich, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. Wanted to take some time. You know, Valentine's Day is on the way, and so everybody's getting ready to go out, spend a lot of money on that their significant other to
Right.
show all this affection and love. Some of us have people, some of us don't.
Right.
So it's a lot of. So now's the time we find a lot of people are talking about relationships and talking about love, and you are a life coach and you deal with love and success and things of that nature. So I just wanted to have a conversation with you. Could you tell us a little bit about F21 before we get started?
Well, F21, that is an abbreviation for the first 21 days. I tell people my coaching practice is practical. It takes 21 days to initiate a habit. So what we want to do is we find out if there's something they want to pull from out of their life and install something new into their life. We use the 21-day method to install new habits to gain success.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the types of things you deal with as far as a life coach, because I know there's lots of different types of life coaches, but just give us a breakdown of what areas that you work with people with.
The areas I work with is health, with losing weight. I also work with maintaining a budget, and then last but not least is relationships.
Okay. So what about relationships? Tell me a little bit about your work with people in relationships.
Well, relationships, I always say there's four key components that you want to know before going into relationships. Who am I?
Mm-hmm.
What am I looking for? Mm-hmm. What's the game plan? How are we going to execute the game plan?
Okay. Okay. So when you're looking for, and as a man or a woman, these are the four things I should be looking for.
Yeah, these are the four things you should be looking for. I actually break them down called the 3 marriages.
Okay.
The first marriage is the internal marriage. Who am I on the inside? Am I a relationship style person? I'm a task style person. And we can elaborate on that as we go through the interview. Mm-hmm. The second thing is how do I convey information versus how do I receive information? And then the last key component is dealing with the external. What am I dealing with outside of myself? Who is this person that I have now attracted to me, and why are they in my life?
Okay. So what major problems when people come to you for relationship advice? What major problems, things that people are trying to overcome? What do they tell you their problems are?
The biggest one?
Yeah.
Why do I keep attracting the same person to my life over and over again?
And can you give us expand on that for me? What are some of the things that would make a person continue to attract the wrong person?
The things that make a person continue to attract the wrong person to their life or the right person to their life, they may not realize it's the right person for them, is the energy that goes on the inside of their body. Mm-hmm. I know I said body when going to anatomy. You have 7 glands inside your body, and each gland controls the hormones and the feelings, but to make it simple, they're attached to a certain emotion. Mm-hmm. And the people that we attract to our lives basically help us balance us out emotionally on an emotional level. And of course, that shows up in 6 different areas of our life: spiritual, financial, social, mental, physical, and sexual. Mm-hmm. So basically, as we come to each other, our goal or objective is to balance each other out. But when most people come together, they focus on the strengths. What do I like about this person? Mm-hmm. But what we forget to have a conversation about is what are our fears. And 90% of all arguments start from an insecure, fearful place. So a lot of times when the relationship begins to break down, people are arguing insecurities, but they don't realize that they argue insecurities because they never had an opportunity to actually say, here's what my fears are in life. We always talk about our strengths, never talk about our fears.
Right. Now, I read something that you have wrote, and you say a lot, we can change our life by changing the way we feel.
Right.
And I wanted you to expand more on that because I was always under the impression a feeling is just a feeling.
Right.
You just don't feel. You sad, just don't be happy. Explain what you mean by that.
All right. Well, what I mean by that is, I actually have a quote. If you don't mind, I'll give you the quote. The quote is, "Feeling is the secret to all outcomes, accent is the magic to all incomes. And if you don't mind, I'd like to give you an example. Let's say if you were angry and you were upset about to get in a fight. I came to you with logical information. Which one wins? The logical information I'm providing for you or the anger? And if the anger wins, then we know that it's the emotion that drives you. No different than whenever people first meet each other and they fall in love. They go through that euphoric state. So now I can come and say, hey, you know what, XYZ, this person used to be a player. This person's no good. Tell you everything about the history, but you may ignore all the signs because you're in love. So love won, not the logic.
Okay, I understand. That's good information. If a person needed relationship advice, walk me through. If I was coming to you and wanted to, hire you or acquire you as my coach, what are some of the things to help me better my relationship that you would walk me through? What are some of the exercises and things of that nature?
Well, the first thing we're going to find out is what it is that you truly want out of life. Mm-hmm. I know we say we want relationships, but is it really a relationship that we're striving to obtain in our life? Is it companionship that we're striving to gain in our life? Is it a sexual relationship that we're striving to gain in our life? What is it that we really want? A lot of us send mixed signals out there. They say we want a relationship, but really what we're looking for is companionship. A lot of people don't want relationships. What they're looking for is a sexual relationship, but they don't know how to convey that to the opposite sex. So the first thing I'm going to find is what is it that you truly want, to find out, are we actually going towards your goals? Or are we in and out, one foot in the door, one foot out the door? So we got to first stop sending out mixed messages.
Okay, that helps. Let's say in a relationship, let's say I'm married, and so a marriage is, I'm trying to keep my marriage together, but I can't convey my feelings to my wife. It's, from whatever reason, I'm arguing a point of insecurity or fear. How do you help me overcome that?
Well, the first thing we do is, once you identify your fear, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to identify what is your relationship style. What I mean by that is, of course, we know we've heard about the love languages, but to me, it breaks down into two things: a relationship style person versus a task style person. When I say task, that's actually a masculine energy, logical, getting things accomplished. When I say relationship, that's how we relate to each other, the love, the affection, the why. What tends to happen in most relationships, you have one person that's a relationship person and one person that's a task person. When the relationship begins to break down, the breakdown comes, as I mentioned before, the fear. But what you don't realize is that you share the same fear, and if you ever notice, when those two people argue, the relationship person attacks your character. The task person attacks the things that you bring to the table, not realizing that both of you are saying the same thing. So the breakdown in communication is you haven't identified that you are actually saying the same thing, but you're speaking two different languages saying the same thing. So if we get to the root cause, being the insecurity, the fear, now we can come together as a team. Any good coach, whether it be a basketball coach, football coach, or actually dealing with people, is going to draw up a game plan and actually have the players execute that game plan. So what we're going to do, me as a coach, I'm going to help the two individuals draw up a game plan to help them get over their fears. For an example, somebody may say, hey, I have a fear of being able to take care of my family. And that person may not have no money at all. Another person may say, hey, I have a fear of taking care of my family. And they hoard their money and hold on tightly to it. Now, the task person in this relationship may beat the relationship person down because they seem to bring no financial stability to the relationship. The relationship person may break the task person down and say, hey, life is about people, not about money. But both of their fears is based on survival. So now they're attacking each other. What's coming out is the fear of the attack, instead of actually coming together and saying, hey, here's our financial game plan. So the first thing to do is to create a budget in that particular example. I even have a quote that goes along with that. To live within your means is to expand your means. To break that down simply means this. If I live within my means, I take myself out of an anxiety state, because anxiety is fear, right? So when you live outside of your means, you're like, oh, I'm paycheck to paycheck. Who am I going to pay next? How am I going to pay this next bill? But if you actually have a solid foundation of a budget, and that budget now has a game plan of how we're going to invest our money, how we're going to spend our money, it takes away the anxiety. So now these two people can come together and stop arguing.
Wow, you broke it down. Thank you for taking the time to sit down with us, Coach D. Rich. Looking forward to talking to you again. Could you leave us with some contact information in case anybody wanted to reach out and find out where you're going to be speaking or when you're going to be having an event?
Yes, my email address is the first21days@gmail.com. Once again, that's first21days@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook at David Richardson. You can find me on Instagram at D2Reality. You can find me on Twitter at The First 21 Days. And you can also give me a call at 803-394-0094.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach Rich.
All right. Thank you.